and welcome to another episode of the Going Over Podcast. It is I, your neighborhood-friendly coach, trainer, promoter, and 44-year-old professional wrestler who shaved his eyebrows accidentally, Zack Primetime Reeb, boom. And I'm joined alongside, as always, with my podcast partner, the 6 feet 12 inches of the wrecking ball, Paul Isadora. And Paul, have you ever had one of those days where you just can't get out of the house, everything you do? It's like, I got promoting done today, 3 different towns. It was long. I got to the stoplight and realized that I left my flyers in the damn cash box up in my closet. I left my Diet Pepsi on the counter. And my face is so clean shaven and my eyebrows look like they're gone because I did not pay attention from the 3 guard to the 1 guard when I was shaving my face. So there no more facial hair as of right now. Smooth, clean as a baby's bottom, and my eyebrows are gone. And that makes me powder, or I am in the first stages of remission, as you terribly put on me in the treatment center. How you doing today, buddy? Because it's been a rough one. It's been a rough one.
I thought I was doing a podcast with Charlie Villanueva from the NBA. I was just like, what is going on here?
I just told you, don't I look? I thought I looked like white chocolate. I thought it was Jay Will over here, Jason Williams from the Sacramento Kings right here. Watch out. Street balling.
That's it, man. You caught me off guard. I was like, oh, I must have sent the link to some of the wrong person.
Fuck off.
I was like, what is going on here? Who is this person?
Who is this young high school student over here?
This young strapping lad.
I just spoke in the business.
Yeah, man, I have definitely had those days, man, when you get out of the house and you realize you forgot something. Most of the time for me, it's my wallet. Going somewhere to do some shopping and then get halfway down the road and realize, God dang it, I don't have my wallet. Where did I put that thing? And then I have to go rummage around in my house. And it reminds me of the there's the comedian Joe Coy. He's talking about losing his keys, and it's like he's like, I don't want to tell my mom because she's just gonna give me the business about it. It's like, oh, when you lose your keys, do you use your mouth to find them, or do you use your eyes to find them? Why are you asking me where they are? Why don't you look for them?
Joseph.
That's
why? Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, it's just one of those days, man. I'm going to go ahead and keep the old trucker hat pulled down real tight, real snug, because I don't want anybody to see Powder Z over here. Just I look like a fucking seal, as a matter of fact. I'm hoping that with such a rough day, and then maybe tomorrow can be even rougher, and then Friday, and then a little bit of this will grow back before we get down to Tucka Winnemucca, the big Tucka from Winnemucca, Richard Tucka from Winnemucca.
That's it, man. Yeah, but that should be a good time. We should be able to have a good time in old Winnemucca. I just got word that we're going to have a makeshift locker room, so I'm not sure what that's going to look like. Maybe having the wrestling trailer in the way and getting dressed behind it. I don't know exactly what that's gonna what it's going to entail, but we're in for an adventure, it sounds like. So,
well, bad news said AC, baby, AC.
That's it, man. So it's a gigantic rodeo arena, it looks like. And they said that they had to pay to put the flooring down. So,
But
obviously it's a tattoo convention, so they don't want people walking in the rodeo arena and getting horse shit on their shoes, and then walking into the sterile environment of the tattoo studios. So I'm like, okay, I guess that makes sense. You don't want to have too much contamination when you're getting the tattoos done.
flooring down, no locker room. Let's go.
That's it.
We were talking about something yesterday, and I wanted to continue on this topic. I told you I was going to talk about this, and
Right.
I
can't wait.
You had asked me about somebody saying that, specifically telling me about a booking and saying that they're getting good at putting green wrestlers over. And I said, yeah, he actually did say that. He said putting, Putting, but he didn't say getting. And those two words mean just completely opposite things of each other in this business we're in. That's what I love about the business, because I'm not in the business of you putting somebody over. I'm in the business of you getting somebody over. And I want to just talk about the differences, and there is no similarity in those. Putting somebody over just means go ahead and fucking beat me. Nothing, there's no purpose there. Nobody moves forward. Nobody is made here tonight or gets over more with the fans. But getting somebody over, just like our podcast is called Going Over, getting somebody over means that you're extending the business. You're building somebody so that that this person now has value to draw fans, and this person also has value to make another wrestler, and in turn, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get people over. We're not trying to put people over.
Well, and in some cases, putting someone over could also work as getting someone over, right? Because if you have established yourself as a mainstream character, somebody who is difficult to beat, you think about like the Undertaker streak, right? And Brock Lesnar going over to break the streak. They said, oh, well, he didn't really need that. He didn't need the rub, but you think about in other cases where you've got, you think about like a Razor Ramon 1-2-3 Kid or Lightning Kid or whatever it was called at the time, and it's like you get a big victory, you put someone over, and it puts a little steam behind that person. And I understand that we need to also get that person over by the story that you tell within the match and things like that. But I do find that people get confused with terminology quite often, and I always think it's funny when people want to be a commentator, but they don't know what the moves are called, right? It's like, oh, we put him in a pile driver, or they call it some different move, and you're like, no, that's not what that was. That was something completely different. He's got him in a headlock. It's like, no, it's a rear naked choke or whatever like that. So I always find it comical when terminology gets flip-flopped or misused or things like that. So that is a great example, putting someone over versus getting someone over. And obviously the person is trying to impress you by telling you how good they are. Oh man, I'm getting really good, man. You know what? The thing I'm getting really good at is I'm getting really good at putting these young guys over.
We're putting over.
Right. It's like,
welcome to the Putting Over podcast.
Right.
Putting over.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to impress you by telling you how good they're getting. And it's like, oh, well, you suck at terminology, because if you're telling me that you're getting good at putting people over, that means that you're just a loss factory, right? You're getting good at losing. So,
well, one is like, I would imagine you would say one to the promoter, like, fuck, I'll put him over.
right,
You know what
right.
I mean? One, there's no excitement in it. It's just like, you look at your buddy, or I look at you, and you're like, hey, get the, put this guy over. And you're like, fuck, yeah, all right, I'll put him over. And that's
by getting him over. I'll put him over by getting him over.
Nah, I've never heard the two used in the same terminology before, because if you're excited about it, you're gonna be like, fuck yeah, man, I'm gonna get that motherfucker over. You get confidence, like, I'm gonna get him over tonight. Nobody's ever like, hell yeah, man, I'm gonna go put that guy. I'm gonna be putting that guy over. No one's ever. If that's the terminology they use, no one's ever like happy about it. Like, hey, we want you to lose to this fucking guy who's been wrestling for, like when I wrestled Kid Carson, Kid Urrington, the Winnemucca Kid.
Right.
When I wrestled him,
Bobby.
Well, it was like, I'm gonna get this kid over in his hometown. I was excited about it. Like when we talked about it, I was excited. I was like, man, I'm gonna get him over. I didn't go, I'll put it. It was my idea. You know what I mean? I was like, man, I'm gonna get this kid over tonight. I'm gonna get him over in his hometown. I didn't say I'm gonna put him over in his hometown, because then who would have gave a shit at that point? So I mean, I understand you're not wrong, and I am right as well. It can go either way there, but the idea of someone saying that and not being able to even do that, the idea of putting over just means, I'm gonna let you pin me or submit me. It's even worse when they're like, I'll let you beat me by count out. Want to get a DQ finish on me? We're gonna get your ass over here tonight.
That's it. Oh, we will definitely do that, man. We were talking today about the you don't have to tell people how good you are, because if you're really that good, people will tell you how good you are, right? So I definitely enjoy that when that happens. When you don't have to be egotistical about your own ability, and I don't know if that goes back to the getting over versus putting over. It's like, hey man, if you're really good at pro wrestling, somebody is going to already know it. You don't have to tell me. Someone else has already told me, or I already know because I've seen you, or I've heard the rumors about you, or things like that. So I always enjoy getting to see that, right? Somebody who is humble about their abilities in this pro wrestling business, and then hearing someone else tell you how good this person is. I think it is always an extremely exciting thing to hear happen, and especially when it's somebody that you trust and look up to and things like that. So I always enjoy that type of stuff getting coming out. Not like it's coming out in the open, not like it's things that I didn't know already, but it was just like a good little attaboy.
It's always nice to get an attaboy. People don't realize, like, professional wrestling, like, where's the men? You know what I mean? Like right now, when I look at wrestling, whether they're cheering him or not, Randy Orton's my guy right now. Right. On TV. He's my guy, because what he's doing, man, is what a heel would do. What just a maniacal, insane bad guy would do right now. Randy is he's a killer, and that's what he said too. He said, I'm a killer. And that's what he's portraying to us right now. We have conditioned, and WWE, AEW, every company conditions their fans, desensitizes them from some great aspect of the business, and falls into what I like to call the mark promoter. And it's not, don't take offense to it. If you do, if you think we're talking about you, maybe we are, right? And don't take offense to what I'm saying here, because I'm just a young, fresh-faced, baby-faced boy with no eyebrows right now. But what I'm getting at is, here comes the wrestlers to the ring. Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns. I mean, you got Roman Reigns and the Usos on Monday night kicking the shit 3-on-1. They're going after CM Punk, and they're cheering Roman Reigns. They're cheering the other babyface, who is, and him and his cousins are assaulting CM Punk, and they just want to sing along, and they want to do this, and what I think is so oxymoronic about it, right, is that the bookers, Triple H, the creative writing team, whatever, they'll sit there and they'll book the product so that they can get those moments, because they know that the fans like to sing songs. They know the fans like to do this stuff. But then out of nowhere, they'll be like, we're firing R-Truth. Oh, R-Truth's back. Like, just out of, Seth Rollins is injured, but he's not. But now he is really injured because karma's a bitch. But it's like, if you're going to just expose this shit, right? If you're going to expose this shit on the Unreal show on Netflix, and CM Punk and Rollins don't really hate each other, you're going to show us the behind the scenes. You're not only going to pull the fucking curtain back. Vince McMahon would have probably fucking shit on 10 people's heads and then murdered them, while he had his Papa Shango and Andre the Giant dildos out on the table, greased up and ready for action, right? And the tip of the Papa Shango dildo would have had the little burning skull of dry ice coming out of it, and the Andre the Giant would have been taking that one strap down on the dildo and ready to choke you into submission. I would have loved to seen the Jake the Snake Roberts and the Repo Man dildo that Vince had dressed up in the office back there. But on a more serious note, it's like, man, you're gonna tell us this shit is phony? You're gonna tell us this shit? You're gonna film and put on Netflix for us to see this shit is so cornball phony, and then you're gonna turn around and try to work us? Oliver John calling in late.
Uh-oh.
I'll call you back in 40, pal. I'm talking of kayfabe in here. I'm kayfabe in here. I mean, what do you think of that? What do you think about booking for the marks, making you the mark, but then trying to work the marks? It's like, they know it's fake, Triple H. You already exposed this shit for a fucking 6-episode deal every 4 months on Netflix. That's unreal.
Right. Well, you know what? We were just kind of talking about this either the last episode or the one before that, right? It's like you have, everybody, in theory, everybody knows what pro wrestling is, but we still want people to lose themselves, right? Get lost in the product for 2 hours or whatever it is. And we try to still create those moments, and we try to still create the reality of the situation, right? A great example is, I get hit by hit with a chair on the last show, right? And, and I sell the shit out of it, and, get carried to the back and all this different stuff. And, I come out of the curtain to, do some cleaning up of items, but that doesn't mean that I stop selling, like, regardless if I know these people, know it's a work. To me, I'm in this character until all of the fans leave. right? So it's just a different vision, right? You put things together on the show to try to make sense, and you might say, oh, don't work your friends or whatever, don't work your family. It's like, then what are we doing this for? It's like you go into the show and you do all this stuff, and then right after the show ends, the last bell sounds or whatever, you come out of the curtain with the guy that you just wrestled, and you're holding hands, and you got your arm around him and stuff like that. It's like, and people are supposed to believe that you guys hate each other or things like that. To me, that's like, why are you doing it in the show if you're just going to throw it all out the window right afterwards, right? So, I don't know. Like, obviously, you have different perceptions. You go, oh, you can't expect people to believe that this is real stuff or whatever. It's like, well, you can make them believe to a certain extent. I always love the people that go, oh, well, I know that this is phony stuff, and then they come up to you and they ask you, like, did that guy really hit you in the face? Did that guy really hit you with that chair? Or, hey, did you really hate that guy? And it's like, you think these people are completely against believing in what's going on. But then when people start asking you those questions, you go, you know what? These people don't really know, right? They're questioning what's going on. Well, I thought it was phony, but that guy looked like he punched the other guy in the face, or that guy, when the chair hit that guy on the back, it sounded really loud. Like, how can you fake that? I think he really hit him with that chair, and it's like, well, yeah, that did happen, man. You're gonna trick people into believing, and I think that's one of my favorite things about the pro wrestling business is I don't care how many times you tell somebody that it's phony. When they watch it live and they get caught in the emotion, something happens where they go, man, I think these guys really hate each other, right? You wouldn't do that to someone if you didn't really hate them, right? So, I don't know.
Well, that's the magic, right?
It is.
That's like the magic it's the story. We say it all the time. Well, I just started saying it. Storytelling wins again because it does. Without the story, nobody gives a shit. Even in AEW, they're trying to tell you a story. They're just telling you this really long story that you forget about. Like, it's almost like you're talking to someone on the phone and they're just talking, and you're like, here, let me put this shit on speaker, and I'm gonna go take a shit. I'm gonna go do my dishes, and I'm just gonna lurk back at the phone and go, I feel it. No kidding, and then you come back and they're still talking about the same shit. You don't care, man. Keep me intrigued in the story. I like stories where I call people on the phone and go, what happened last night? And the person on the other end is like, oh, where do you want me to start? And I'm like, I want you to start at the beginning and take your sweet ass time telling me this story, because it is in the storyteller. And that's what, Jim Cornette talks about all the time. I get a lot of shit, people going, well, you listen to Jim Cornette religiously. And I go, I do. Yes, absolutely. I talked to Oliver John about it too. It's like, well, I listen to Jim because he's right. And I'm trying to learn, I want pro wrestling done right. And I remember one time when it really sunk in my brain, it was Kenny Omega Okada. And they did like 50 minutes to an hour in Japan at Wrestle Kingdom, right? And like 20 or 30 minutes into this thing, Omega just comes flying off those ropes, and Okada backdrops him, no hands, backdrops him from the ring a mile over the top rope through the table, and you're like, man, that should have been the end of it. They should have wheeled an ambulance in that big arena or carted him off, and that would have been a perfect injury angle. And this title match would have not been inconclusive, you know what I mean, or a count out. And Kenny lost by count out, but he didn't win the title. And now there's a comeback story for this guy. Keep him off TV for a few months. Do a fucking interview from the doctor's office, whatever. But they got back up and they win another hard 30. And I remember Jim Cornette saying something that will stick in my brain to the day I die. Even at this age, because it was like 4 years ago. He said, the stupidest thing in the entire world is to do something that you've already showed the audience you're cooperating and it's fake, but then to really go out there and risk paralysis and purposely try and hurt one another. Now, I get that the hazards are real. I understand. Accidents happen. It's a dangerous game we play. That's why you have to be trained well. That's why we tell stories. That's why we call the action in the ring. So we're not trying to remember this shit while we're moving 100 miles an hour and flying up in the air and doing dangerous stuff. But like you said, you've told everybody it's fake. You are cooperating with each other to a point that they know that you're cooperating with each other, but yet you're still hurting each other. And we talked about Daniel Bryan and Bryan Danielson. And everybody knows I think Bryan Danielson is great. Love Daniel Bryan. But when people say he's one of the top guys, I say, or that match was the best match of all time, I go, no, it wasn't. Because he hurt himself and he hurt his opponent because they're out there really kicking the shit out of each other. Like strong style is a work. Like I get people like really work strong style. I get it, but you're not going out there every night and doing strong style matches. You're going to end up dead or with a lot of concussions or unable to work the rest of the year. That's why it's a work. That's why we are called workers. So I just think that stuck in my head. It was like, man, we're telling them it's fake, but we're hurting each other for their entertainment. That kind of makes us not just the marks. It makes us fucking guinea pigs, right? Like, here, put on a little hat, get on a little organ grinder and do a dance for me, puppet.
That's it, man. It's obviously it's not what we want to see. You know, you want to see stories being told out there. You want to give the illusion of danger without putting people in danger. You know, and I don't know. It comes from people not understanding how to do certain things, right? You don't know how to tell a good story. You're not a good worker. So you go out there and you hit each other hard, right? Because you don't know how to make it look realistic without being realistic, right? I don't know. We talk about it so much about understanding how to throw a good work punch or work strikes in general or safe things that make noise, things like that. It's just obviously it comes down to training, right? It comes down to repetitions of hey, you're hitting me too hard. That can't happen, right? You're gonna fucking potato someone and someone's going to go berserk on you, right? Because they're going to think you don't know how to work, right? And it's like, all right, this fucker's trying to hurt me, so I am definitely going to hurt this person, right? We talk about it all the time behind the scenes. Like, hey, yeah, the whole point of strong style being a work. It's like, yeah, you don't have to kick me hard, right? You can make it look like you're kicking me, and I will sell it for you to make it look like it hurts, right? So just having the ability to go out there and sell. I mean, we talk about that to no end. It's like, hey, why don't you sell for this guy, right? Make it look like you're in pain and he's putting some damage on your body. Don't just all of a sudden you're on offense. Now all of a sudden you have not been injured. You haven't been hurt at all, right? You just forget to sell completely, and all of a sudden you're Superman, or your power meter is all the way back to the top all of a sudden, and and now nothing. You're not affected by anything that was going on when you were on defense, when you're getting the shit kicked out of you. Now that you're on offense, you completely forgot about that.
Well, I thought it was funny there. I forgot who was telling me, but they were talking about a wrestler. I don't know if it was a class or at a show, but he's like, that guy thinks he's tough. He's like, but that guy's a pussy. It might have been bad news saying this, but he was like, that guy's a pussy. And I'm like, why? He's like, well, he always thinks he's tough, but like, look at him when he's walking around locking up in the fighting stance. His hands are way down here to his side. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. Like, I mean, unless this guy is like the UFC Cody Garbrandt, who's just fucking the fastest. I mean, that guy, he's faster than Mighty Mouse with like his footwork and his hand speed, and he keeps his hands down here. He'd probably be a way better fighter up here, but he keeps his hands down here because so he can. His footwork is so fast that he transfers more power to knock you out. That's why he's always knocking guys out, and he is. If he gets clipped, he's going down. And I started watching this guy, and I'm like, oh, this motherfucker's fighting stance is terrible. Like hands down here, and like I'm like, no. No matter if this guy thinks he's tough or not, anybody who's punched a bag or two, you know what I mean? Taking a month of a boxing class is gonna fucking smoke this dude, man. In a bar fight, some haymaking fucking bring it from here fucking brawler's gonna just ice this guy. He's gonna fall with his arms like that and whack his head off the floor. And you really can. You can look at a performer, the way they move around the ring. We were in the mall and we were walking around before the Ugly Dope. We were in the Arden Fair Mall. Ain't been in a while. We're walking around, and a couple of the guys were there. A couple of the guys that I've been saying, hey, would you, when you're waltzing around, walk like you're walking into a store or through a store? And they continue to like the old independent wrestling awkward thing. I look back at one of them and there's a bunch of people over here and I go, hey, watch this. And I start walking like them when they're going to lock up. And everybody at the elevator thing like stops and I said, see, look how these random pedestrians, these random people are looking at me because the way I'm walking. They're like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? And that's the relaxed smoothness. It's the opening of the contest, Paul. Paul, it's the first thing of the contest. Why would you exert all this weird energy? Why would you give away your position? Why would you just not? Why wouldn't the heel like me when I was holding on to the rope, looking at you? Because as long as I'm holding on to that rope, I can tell you, hey, I thought you trusted that guy. Get him in there. The second I let go of the rope, I'm fair game. The bell sounded, but I'm fair game for you to fucking maul me. So I got my hand on the rope. Even when the other guy comes in, I'm still touching this rope. And because as long as I'm touching that, you can't get me. And if you do, then I've got an argument with the referee, and I'm gonna take it up with Commissioner John Patterson, and we're gonna have a serious issue over here. You know what I mean? Like,
it's very true.
Look around. Just take a look around is all I'm asking people to do. Like think for a minute. So here's a scenario I want you to think about, right? whatever stupid formula, the formulaic wrestling, shine, cut off, hope from the heat, hopey, come back, faulty. Okay, here's what I want you to tell me. If me and you are going to go 10 minutes and we're using let's just use the stupid formula that everybody does. I'm going to shine on you. You're going to cut me off. I'm going to build a comeback and we're going to go home. Now, the choke slam is what I don't want to take, correct? I don't want to take that. So if we're shining at the start of the match before the cutoff, there's probably a good chance that your choke slam, your big boot, a clothesline, a very big bump up until the cutoff, if you go for that, I should just naturally be comfortable knowing that I'm not taking it, right? Like, I'm not going to take that move. I'm not taking it. If you're throwing clotheslines at me, if you're throwing something big at me, unless it's specified in a certain way, but I'm not going to get hit with that. And then I know in the heat, even if you grab me for it, I'm not going to get chokeslammed by you. I know that maneuver is going to happen in the false finish area, possibly, or the end, but it's going to be in the finish. So you could go for it 20 times until the finish. And I don't need you to tell me, like, are you going to do it now? Are you going to do it? No, you're not going to do it now. I know you're not. My job is to counter, run away, slip out, stomp your toe, kick you in the nuts if the ref ain't looking, or kick you in the nuts if that's going to, I'm DQ'd at that point, but it's so simple what we shouldn't do. But these guys want to go out there and choreograph it, and they're choreographing all the wrong shit. I just remember when we were doing that one training, he kept going up to everybody and going, "What's the finish?" And they're like, "Oh, we're not there yet. We're working on our hope spots." And he was like that face, he went, "What?" Then he went and asked someone else, and they're like, "We're working on the shine right now." And he lost his mind. Like, when he said to the first person, and they said they're working on the hopes, I was like, ooh, maybe he'll let it go. And then he asked someone else because curiosity killed the cat, right? And the other person was, but they weren't to the hopes yet. They were in the shine. They were a little behind on calling their match. And he just flipped out. He went in the ring, yelled. He's like, why the fuck? I don't give a shit about any of this. Why haven't you come up with your fucking finish yet? And like I was telling Christian last night, the finish is, I always go back to a well-structured match that was the Gator Boys versus them. And it was the first time that I said it like this. I said, all right, I said, get the little guy in there, work with the smaller guy. Big guy comes in, gets, moves you guys around, tags back in the smaller guy, cut him. Put it on him, hot tag to the bigger guy. He comes in. When he tags out the smaller guy, you guys go. So my finish to them was unwanted over on the smaller guy, dirty. You know what I mean? Unwanted over on the smaller guy, dirty. Give the big guy the hot tag, but he tags back out. So then you go over on the smaller guy. That's the finish. Whatever you guys decide to put together and what moves you want to string into, it's fine. I gave you your finish. Big guy comes in hot, tags the smaller guy, comes back in, and you guys go over on him dirty and get the fuck out of here. That's your finish. I don't need to say double stomp. I don't need to say fucking carjack submission, double German, Dudley death drop. I don't need to say any of that stuff. That's up to you, as long as in the parameters of what I'm asking for my finish, you fucking do it. If I say go over dirty and you go over clean on the big guy, then I can't book you anymore.
Right. We're going to have an issue.
Yeah. I love listening to you explain to people it's always funny, the baby one, when you tell people that one, because I've heard it 3 times now, where
Right.
it's baby, and tell us your example of a baby match and what you tell these wrestlers, and then tell us what you get. Don't make me be the only asshole on the program.
Right. It's I just tell them, you guys are going to be wrestling. You guys are going to be the root of this sport. You guys are going to be wrestling, trading holds, trying to counter, trying to get the best of each other. And then somebody at some point is going to be frustrated that they're getting out wrestled over and over, and they're going to take a shortcut. And at that point, now they are going to become the heelish type character, and they are going to now be taking advantage of the shortcut that they took, and basically be putting the heat on the other guy, and then get to the point where you have some sort of hope where the guy comes back and the fans start getting behind him again, and then go to whatever your finish is. But yeah, unfortunately, majority of the time you don't get a whole lot of trading holds. You get into trading heat early, and we're just like, hey, what happened to the wrestling part of this match? What happened to you guys making this into an interesting contest of who's a better wrestler, who's going to out wrestle the other person and gain the advantage? What happened to all of that stuff? It is confusing, I think, to have a match where you are going to be almost at a stalemate for a certain amount of time. Like, people are not patient enough to tell that story. And I don't know if we need to get 2 amateur wrestlers to just go out there and go, hey, just go wrestle for a little bit. Go wrestle until you hear them say 5 minutes. And then you guys can go into something where somebody is going to be frustrated and take a shortcut to gain the advantage.
They won't.
No, because I was going to say, we're not getting it from most people. Most people don't understand. They don't understand the concept. They don't understand that storytelling. But that's the most important thing, is that we tell that story. If you've got a babyface versus babyface, you need to be exchanging holds. You need to be wrestling cleanly. You are not to be throwing punches, because you're like, if you were in a amateur wrestling match, you would not be allowed to kick someone or throw a punch or throw a strike or anything like that. You'd be trading holds, trying to gain the advantage, So getting takedowns, right?
Punches and bunches.
Oh yeah,
that's my favorite. That's my favorite, when someone's like, can we just work on my punches? Like, hey, throw those forearms. The forearms sound like a shotgun going off, and the crowd fucking really thinks you hit the guy. They don't do that when you punch. Well, can we work on my punches? It's like, it's illegal. Like, it's not good. You can go work on your own. Why the fuck do I have to work on your punches? With fucking hang a string from the fucking door. Go punch somebody. Go punch the tree. If you go forearm the fucking tree, if it hurts, you're forearming it right. Go chop the tree. If it hurts your wrist and your hand, then you're chopping the tree wrong. I put people on the outside on the 4 corners over there, and I make them forearm and chop the pole. I make them do like reps of 50. And then I tell them, I say, hey, if it hurts, feel your arm around and find that sweet spot that doesn't hurt, and then slowly work on placing that where you want it, and at the stop. The pole is the stop point. You got to learn to hit the moves at the stop point where you would stop. Because guess what happens if you don't stop? you fucking hurt somebody. You're really punching through the motherfucker, man. It's funny though. Like I was gonna say, like maybe like Shelton Benjamin and Kurt Angle or something like that. Like
Sure.
if you told that type of, they could go out there and amateur wrestler. I really, man, I was talking to Manny and I was like, man, I really liked. I'd like to see you work Jeff Skyrood a little more. I'd like to see where it could go. And that's stuff that you tell another performer is like, man, I liked it. You give them a little bit of feedback, but you go, I'd like to see it more because I'd like to see where this goes. And it doesn't mean like break his ankle and get the story over and he comes out on a crutch. And it's like, no, I'd like to see you guys work in Sacramento and then Urington and Winnemucca and Sparks and Orville and Red. I'd like to see you guys, it doesn't have to be a best of 7 series, but I'd like to see you guys go to 5 or 6 towns and you're the bad guy, he's the good guy. And I'd like to see you guys really like see where this match can go, see how much you can progress it, what you can figure out through like by the time you get to the 6th town and all the critiquing and watching it yourself and you're getting comfortable with each other. It's like, man, now we can start to do some business. Now, because that's the biggest part of this business is we can't do business if you don't trust me. And the trust goes more than just in the ring. That's the problem is everyone's so concerned about like the wrestling in the ring. And it's like, that's a big portion of it. But to be able to tell that's what I was trying to do up there in Urington, which we succeeded, was I was trying to tell the story from the heel's perspective to get the audience mad. And then you guys come out and we're trying to tell the story through no physical action, just all like sign language and vocal, hand movement, gestures, and facial expressions. But then when we come out later that night, now we're going to tell this story physically in the match. And that's what makes a good storyteller is the person that can do this and can do this and can do all of this, listen to this, and then physically tell that story in the match because people don't understand that's the story. If submissions is the story, get your submissions over. You don't need to get 2 or 3 of them over. That's what I liked about Uglies was Sergio got to the rope and he got pulled off the rope, which he touched it. And it's classic finish. And Rogan reared back on it and Sergio tapped. And then he went off on the referee and Rogan left. And then Sergio hits the referee and throws the referee in his submission while Rogan's still standing there, turned around looking back. And now the ref's tapping to Sergio's submission. And Rogan runs back in and runs him off to show him he's a cowardly heel. And then now we know what his submission is and his work. Now we know what his submission is because we've seen the ref tap into it. We know he's a piece of shit for doing that to the ref because he couldn't do that to him. And we know he can tap him out. And there's a conflict with like, hey, I touched the rope. So now let's have a submission match, right? And let's get that same referee involved in that submission match. Now we got a conflict. Now we can tell a story.
Exactly. And that's obviously what we're trying to accomplish. We're trying to tell that story where the fans can be invested and get lost in the moment and, follow along, right? This is what happened last time. And they know, right? Just like you explained it, they see that this guy can beat this other guy via submission, but yeah, hey, you did touch the rope. So maybe I thought the hold was going to get broken and that's why I relaxed. And the guy pulled me back into the hold. And, so yeah, you got the conflict, you got the idea that this guy can beat this other guy via submission, but then you also question that, like, well, if he didn't think the hold was going to be broken, would he be a little bit more protected? Would he have protected himself a little bit better and not relaxed? So That's obviously what we're trying to accomplish. We're trying to tell that story so the fans can follow along, and then in result, pay the ticket to see the next event, to see what happens as a result of what happened here. So, obviously, we always talk about planting the seeds that you could use down the road for the next show, the next month, the next few months, next year, whatever. I always like how there's always a lot of callbacks to different things in the history of PCW, where you guys can kind of go, hey, you remember this? What if we call back to that and make sure the fans are aware of what's going on, and this is why there's a conflict, and then we're going to go out and bring it to life in front of the fans so they can be invested in it. So exactly what we're trying to accomplish.
Well, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where they're in on it, right? Like they know it's they know it's fake. And I was talking to Nash last night, and I was just like, man, we're conditioning, the fans have conditioned us to, okay, one fall, falling contest scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I feel like they're mocking the fucking ring announcer. I feel like they're mocking what professional wrestling is. I don't. When I announce at prospects, I don't even give them that opportunity. I say, following contest is scheduled for one fall. I don't say a fucking time limit. You ready for your next contest? Give it up for. I feel everybody's announcement should be different. Like there should be something said about everybody's announcement. Like I was listening where it was like, give it up for all pro. They all don't have to sound the same. And when you can find that guy, that the voice, that's what it is, right? Like we could call the commentator the voice of PCW, but he's not the voice. He's not the voice of the company. The voice of the company is that person that you've chosen to go out there and welcome everybody to the show, whether they're the host or the ring announcer, or they can pull off both. The hype man, who's the voice of the company? Who's the face of your company? Because you have to look at somebody like that. I think that's the really cool part about this coming up with like the character of Jesse Garcia. To me, is I'm looking at that character like, okay, Bad News lost the belt to Rick because of this. Jesse Garcia just won the Rumble. This is my company. He's just coming back off of 2 knee surgeries, and he's been gone for fucking almost 2.5 years. I was going to put the rocket up this kid's ass, but he hurt himself in a non-wrestling related injury. And he hasn't been able to return in this long. You're not the guy. That's my story. You're not the guy. You're not ready to main event Extreme Measures. That's not gonna draw the house. That's not the main event. You're a great guy, buddy. You're a hard worker, but you're not the face of the company. You're not the guy that's gonna hold this thing on his back and press it up over his head and take us to the next stage. And that's a great story to be able to tell. And everyone looks at me and my character like I'm a dickhead for doing it. And I'm just like, hey man, I'm just trying to bring the best entertainment to these venues because I'm paying for the shit. And I want you guys to be happy. And in turn, maybe they will be happy with that character getting over. Well, are they going to turn on him afterwards? Or are they going to stick by his side? That's the beauty of this.
Oh, the magic 5 minutes remains in the podcast. That means it's time to start wrapping it up and taking it home.
As Sergio, every chip. Like when Sergio eats chips, he goes like this. We watched him the other day. He goes. He looks at front and back of every. He must have had a bad experience. Someone was like busted a nut in his Doritos or one day, but it's like that guy loves chips, man. He's got a very potato chip body. You know what I mean? That's like breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, and potato chips. You know what I mean? What'd you have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? I had breakfast, lunch, and potato chips. Yeah, but what'd you have for breakfast and lunch? Potato chips. You know, I've never seen someone eat so many chips in my life.
He's probably just a little bit hungry. Probably just wants to have some chips. What's the main ingredient in the chips? It's got some sort of
saturated fat.
Oh yeah, there you go. It's probably got some sort of something to keep them to last long.
Well, I think
a little treat in there.
I think he's like, I used to have to keep a Snickers bar or something, or some type of pastry for bad news when he would get like tired and hungry and low on sugar. Like he'd be sitting there just lethargic, and I'd be like, "Here, buddy," and he'd be like, "Yes," and then like energy back. You know, that guy does so much driving, man. I think he just bought that Pathfinder, and he was like, "Fuck, I forgot what he said he was already at," but I was like, "Shh."
Yeah, I thought he said 20,000 or 40,000 or something crazy, something crazy mileage was. And I think Larry was kind of telling me a similar story about his truck. So I've been driving back and forth from Yarrington to Yuba City twice a week for however long it was. And it's like, well, I don't know, man. I just had somebody that was reaching out to me that was like, I wouldn't be able to go out to Yarrington to train, but if it's in Reno, then I'll come train with you guys. It's like, you don't want to be a pro wrestler, you know. It's like, you know how far some of these guys travel, man, to get in the ring and try to pursue this dream. It's way farther than 74 miles, you know. So if you can't make a 74-mile drive to get to training, you obviously don't desire to be a pro wrestler bad enough.
Yeah, so if you can create the option, though, man, because I do know, like the Red Bluff guys, they can make Sundays,
right?
So they don't make the week. They don't. Very rarely have I ever seen him come down during the week. But moving that ring up there and starting something in Tehama County, the Red Bluff, Anderson, Redding area, more potential students because it's closer.
Sure.
Where it would be an hour and a half to 2.5 hours from somewhere else, but would be, you know, right in town, or 30, 40 minutes for those people who have nothing else. So, I mean, we talk about it all the time. Like, people do go to the closest place. Sometimes there's a good closer place, and sometimes there's just the closer place.
Right.
And I mean, once you get in, a lot of this stuff is clicky. Like, you don't really figure this stuff out until you've been around a minute, man, because you're just going to training and you're at the shows, and the coaches are like, you fucking put on the ref shirt or the security shirt, help with the ring, but I'm going to tell the other guys you're not ready. So by the time this person does get ready, they've created such a bond and with that company that they're like, fuck, these are my guys right here. So, I mean, it can be good, it can be bad. You know, I guess if you're doing what you love at whatever level, but it's like, I had someone the other day talking about, I need more. And I'm like, well, it's there. You know, you want more? Well, come get more, because here I am at fucking, nobody ever stopped me from what I wanted. You know, I never had to take a break. Man, my head's just clouded up right now. I'm going to take a break from pro wrestling and get my crap together. Hey, you know what, Paul? You got anything? We are at the end of our fucking rope right here.
Oh man, this is coming out on Friday. It'll be tomorrow at that point that we're going to have the Winnemucca. What is it called? Twisted Gold, something like that. Twisted Gold Tattoo Convention, where we're going to be performing at 8 p.m. on Saturday, the 28th.
Showies.
That's the Golden Showers Inn. Yeah, hopefully it's going to be a great time, man. And Winnemucca is always a great crowd, man. I always enjoy it, and I think majority of the other people enjoy it as well.
My knees aren't going to enjoy that ride. The fucking 5.5 fucking hours, man.
Oof. Well, you better stop somewhere along the way. What? Stretch out.
Yeah, we're going to stop at that little. Bad News is very interested in showing a couple of the guys. I looked at the people you had on the card. I don't know how many matches you have planned, but I got some extra guys coming up as well. I'll throw that out there. And we'll see you this Friday. For PCW Limelight on March 27th in Marysville. Saturday, it's the Ugly Matinee Dojo. And me and Oliver John will be doing some seminar training before we're all, including Ugly, because Bishop's on that show. Then we're going to get in the car about 11 o'clock and head to Winnemucca for Twisted Gold and probably crash in a motel room and head back to training. 5 hours, get right to training, do that. Hit that subscribe button. If you don't, when I see you, I'm gonna really have the pin because I'm gonna stab it right in your neck. It's Zach Primetime Reeb and the 7-foot wrecking ball Paul Isadora telling you, get fucked or go over.